So why publish at all? That's a question I always start. And basically a scientific publication, this helps to enhance the understanding and helps to progress in your field of study. And when you disseminate research, disseminating the cutting edge research is not the only motivation, but it can also help you improve your career prospects. It may be a requirement from your funding agency, and it helps to boost your reputation and get your name known in the field. So just to outline the first hour of this webinar, the first question is, why is selecting the right journal so important? And then there's some factors to consider when selecting a journal. And open access, I mentioned this in my introduction, that open access is now an option for nearly all journals. Most journals are called hybrid journals because they offer both open access and they may be that they may also be a subscription journal. So I'll share with you a journal selection checklist, and there's actually some nice journal search resources. They can type in the title of your paper, some keywords in your abstract, and you can have a side-by-side comparison of some journal suggestions to publish your research. And I wanted to touch upon how to recognize predatory journals. Unfortunately, there are just hundreds, maybe even thousands of predatory journals that have sprung up over the years. And I'll teach you how to recognize which ones are predatory journals and which are not. Basically, what distinguishes a predatory journal from a normal journal is that they will offer a very rapid publication without much peer review, if any peer review, and then charge you very high article processing charges. So they're just in it to make money. And finally, I'll go over a checklist for a complete submission to a journal. So why is selecting the right journal so important? So there's a lot of options out there now. Well, the end result is a successful publication. And if you choose the wrong journal, it can take you a very long time to get that result of a successful publication. So initially, when you submit your manuscript, there's some screening that happens in the editorial office. There's a detailed screening of the manuscript, make sure it conforms to the editorial guidelines. These are usually published on the journal's website. You look at the appropriateness of the topic and also to the journal readership. So we ask ourselves some questions. Does the manuscript fit the journal's scope and aim, and is it of interest to the readership? And does it meet some minimum standard for quality? And is the writing and the content good enough to make it worthy of peer review? And did you follow the instructions? So when you initially submit your manuscript, one of the most common outcomes now is just simple desk rejection. It gets rejected without any peer review. So there's a lot of screening that happens. So I'll give you some tips on how to get your manuscript past this first step. And I think this is one of the biggest hurdles now in publishing, is getting it past the editors. So if you get the message that your manuscript has been sent out for peer review, well, congratulations, you can pat yourself on the back. And your manuscript probably has a greater than 50% chance of getting accepted if you make it through the first screening stage. So we also look at quality of research, relevance, accuracy, and then usefulness in your field of study. And I just want to touch quickly about ethics. And basically, as scientists, we have a duty to ourselves and also to our profession that we've conducted research and we're publishing according to the ethical standards. So this requires integrity and adherence to professional standards. Don't submit paper to two journals at the same time. When you do submit to a journal, you're implying that the manuscript is not under review elsewhere, and that you publish in an ethical way. So some of the common reasons for manuscript rejection include outside the journal scope, may just be a high impact factor journal. They typically have very high rejection rates. One of the biggest reasons for rejection is lack of originality or novelty. Most journals, they want to see novel research, that something is new. There's only two journals that they don't care about novelty, and that's Scientific Reports, that's a Nature journal, and then PLOS ONE. Those are the only two journals that they just want to make sure you follow the scientific method and that your research results are repeatable. So if lack of novelty, originality is a problem, you can consider targeting PLOS ONE or Scientific Reports. Those are both open access journals.